SATS hurt more than TATS. I am Neil Arthos. I am the next Abdullah, and we're going to make you the next Neville Goddard. Okay. Now, in all seriousness, guys, SATS, also known as state akin to sleep. Whenever we talk about SATS, what is being referred to is when you do a visualization about something that you want to manifest, and typically people do it at night, okay? Now, the reason why I named this video SATS Hurt More Than TATS actually has nothing to do with tattoos. It has nothing to do really with pain. I just thought it would be a nice fucking title, okay? I wanted to grab your attention. But the point is, SATS does not need to be before sleep or when you wake up. The reason why I made this video is because I wanted to tell you guys that SATS can be done when you're waiting in line at the fucking DMV. You could be doing it when you're in the office cubicle. Okay? You don't this is Nintendo Switch manifesting, okay? This is PlayStation Portable fucking Nintendo DS SAT sessions, okay? You could be on a road trip to Wisconsin. I don't know why the hell you would even want to go there in the first place. Driving. And especially if you've been driving for 5 hours and you're getting drowsy, even better, right? Because as we all know, if you are in a more relaxed state, the more powerful it is on your subconscious. So how would you use this technique? Okay, well, again, this is not my technique. This is SATS is something that has been used for many, many years. But how would you use SATS in the line at the DMV? Okay, well, it's simple, okay? When you daydream, okay? It's literally so fucking simple to get in a theta wave relaxed state, okay? Because I have been a expert Olympic gold medalist daydreamer since I came out of the fucking womb, okay? They would be telling me about arithmetic in the first grade, and I would just be gone. I would just be thinking about how I just cannot wait to eat some fucking McFlurries when I get home, okay? Some 10-piece chicken nuggets with my fat ass, okay? Right? That's all I could think about was I was always fucking hungry when I was a kid. And by the way, I could eat whatever. I still would not gain weight. It was a fucking, a blessing. But either ways, that's besides the point, okay? All I would do, okay, and this is all you have to do, is I would basically blur my vision to the point where I'm basically cross-eyed, right? And what was in front of me, whether it was my homework, whether it was my teacher, hello, like that, I would be so focused on my visualization, my daydream, that I was no longer there, okay? I was in another fucking universe, right? Well, all I did was blur my vision and cross my eyes, okay? And by the way, I never would do this consciously, but after years and years of doing it, one day I remember just thinking to myself, if someone was to catch me, they would probably think I'm fucking high, because my eyes were just like what the fuck, okay? By the way, jump scare, guys, but and I remember thinking, like, this is some That's So Raven shit. Like, all I had to do was cross my eyes, blur my vision a little bit, and I felt literally like I was in another universe. I remember when I used to smoke weed, okay? The same feeling that I would have after a couple of hits from the joint or from, smoking the bowls, was a very similar feeling that I would get when I would be daydreaming, blurring my vision, and off of maybe a couple cups of coffee, right? And I remember sometimes when I couldn't afford weed, I would actually do that, and it actually would fucking get me high, like literally just by blurring my vision, and maybe a little energy drink or two, right? Sometimes not even, no energy drink needed, no coffee needed. I would just be maybe a little tired and daydreaming, and it would just fucking get me high, right? I would feel like if I was smoking weed, right? Some off-brand Reggie, right? So this, I've known, is extremely powerful. I've known this for years, right? But it wasn't until I actually understood what the fuck I was doing that I realized, oh shit, well, no wonder this stuff is so damn powerful, because this is actually God fuel. This is actually true power, what we're doing. So that's why, whether you are daydreaming about someone you love, if you're in fucking, that's all I used to do in high school is just, thinking about making out with my crush, right? Whether you're doing that, or whether you are on your way to work and you keep having this inner dialogue where you're afraid that your boss is going to yell at you, right? You don't realize just how powerful you are. So from now on, whenever you catch yourself daydreaming, put the desire, like your SP or the money, whatever it is, put that in your brain. Whenever you are zoning out, whenever you are listening to that friend who can't shut the hell up, and you have to just entertain yourself until he finally decides to fall asleep, right? We all have that guy who keeps telling us about his favorite movie, and you're just like, dude, why the fuck are you even my friend, right? Whenever you're in that mode, daydreaming, zoning out, put SP on repeat. Put the money on repeat. Okay? Because the fact is, if you really do a little mental inventory, you're going to realize that you are constantly daydreaming. Okay? And by the way, you don't actually have to go crazy blur mode and, just fucking Eskimo that shit, okay? What the fuck? Why did I say that? But whatever way you daydream, whether it's blurring your vision, crossing your eyes, or whether it's just you do the fucking that's so Raven, whatever you do, maybe everybody has a different way that they daydream, but I know you fucking do it, okay? I know that when you're bored, I know that when your phone's out of battery, you have nothing better to do but just fucking stare at the wall. Well, whenever you are in that mode, okay? Or maybe it's when you're washing the dishes or waiting for your clothes to get out of the dryer, and you just have to wait there. Or maybe you are at the counter, okay, and you're waiting for your change. Whatever it is, we all have that moment, even if it's brief. In those moments throughout your day, put SP on repeat. Put the money on repeat, okay? And if you need help with actual visualizations, look, if it's during these daydreams, you don't have a lot of time to fucking watch a whole David Fincher film in there. So if I were you, I would just make it something very quick, like your friend saying, oh my gosh, you're banging Sarah? Oh my gosh, you're banging Sarah? And then slow-mo that shit. Oh my gosh, you're banging Sarah? You get the fucking point, okay? Make it a 3-second clip. All right, or maybe you just see, the grinding going on, whatever, okay? Your subconscious is going to understand what the hell it is, okay? Remember, your visualizations do not need to be in fucking IMAX, all right? Just remember that, okay? But this is, in my opinion, all you need for visualizations, okay? You don't need to do an upside down yoga stance in order to visualize SP. You don't need to have candles in a pentagram to visualize getting millions. You know, it's interesting. Just the other day, I told myself that, because I also have a job as a manager at a restaurant, right? And a lot of times we have dirty tables, you know, and I'll help out my dining employees, right? And I told myself, I'm like, you know, one of these days, well, actually, I started getting tips, right? I started noticing tips on the tables or whatever. And it's always, you know, whoever cleans the table, you know, gets a tip, no matter who it is, right? Manager or employee. And I remember one time I saw like a $5, okay? An Abe, you know, a Lincoln right there. And I remember I was like, you know, fuck, you know, I got to put some gas in the tank. And when I saw the $5, I was like, you know, shit, you know, okay, right? Cha-ching, cha-ching, right? And I remember just briefly telling myself while I was just zoned out for like 2 seconds, I was like, you know, shit, one of these days I'm going to have dinner, okay? I'm just going to be, you know, cleaning a table, and boom, there goes my dinner tab right there, without even having to dig out of my wallet, without even having to dig out of the bank account. Someone's going to pay for dinner, right? In other words, I was gonna get a 20. And what the hell happened today when I was cleaning tables? Boom, baby. Andrew Jackson, okay? And maybe it was also because yesterday I was listening to when him and Charles Dickinson had the duel, okay? All right, boom. Maybe you guys need to do some more history on your presidents. Because whatever you put in your awareness, you will get that reflected back to you. Whether it's the History Channel talking about AJ, okay? And then you get your own AJ, all right? Oh, look, there's 2. Or you're telling yourself that SP has to carry 5 different pairs of panties every single time that they see you, because they know that they will have to go to the bathroom to relieve themselves because of how fucking sexy you are, okay? Whatever the case is, you don't realize that you are sitting on gold. Because whenever you're in a relaxed state and you put a visualization in your awareness, your subconscious cannot tell the difference when it's in a relaxed state between the external and the internal. Why? Because the logical side of the brain is asleep whenever you are relaxed. The ego is not there to tell you this is fake, this is fake, this is bullshit. You are not the sexiest guy in the room. They do not lay the red carpet everywhere you go. You always fucking fall over the carpet whenever you're sweeping the tables, Dallas, Neo. Why the hell would you even think that they would lay the red carpet for you? But then when you're relaxed and you tell yourself, oh, every single time that I make eye contact with SP, she wets her panties. And then your subconscious is like, yes, it's always been like this. And your ego is like, shh. What was that? What was that? It doesn't. It can't wake up. Your ego will not be able to hear it because it's asleep. Okay? So, whenever you're at the DMV, whenever you're waiting for the cashier and he says, oh, I got to go to the back real quick. Hold on. I'm sorry about the wait, sir. And now you're waiting there for 10 minutes and now you have a whole line and you're like, fuck, I got to get out of here. Instead of being all, woe is me, why do I have to wait an extra 5 minutes to get my coffee? Okay? Realize that you can just zone out and think about SP's nice ass. And then you get your change, you get your coffee. 5 days later, she is sticking her ass right in front of your face. Okay? Try this whenever you are zoning out. I am Neil Larthos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say. And I know you're going to be okay.